the server. So therefore, you're only able to perceive what's in render distance in your part of the simulation. What if I told you we are conscious simulations? And there's probably been millions of simulations that have created simulations.
This is why I have been coming out with the information that I've been giving lately.
This is reality.
And it never fails. I'm always countered with
Makes sense, right?
some kind of a one-up in a scary way. So I'm here to give my thoughts about some of this, since again, John said that he didn't,
I think I'm gonna wrap up here.
that he's never,
Just to get you thinking.
well, we'll watch it again then, John. Perfect timing. So he said that he hasn't blocked me from his channel, but I am not able to comment. It's like, it shows me that I'm commenting, but nobody can see my thoughts. It's kind of frustrating. And it's also frustrating because I know that I have a few of you that can see my stuff, and that's it. So I don't really know why. But we're gonna go over this. Might as well, why not? So just bear with me. Feel free to comment, but I'm just gonna.
From chemtrail planes, and you breathe them in. And once you breathe them in, they activate from your bioelectricity. What if 5G towers are what help power the AI nanobots? What if 5G towers are what activate them, control them, send and receive data? Now, I haven't thought this all the way out. I'm sure the same.
Yes, which I've also been explaining. If you look back at ancient Egyptian history, this has been happening since then. Enki, yes, the Anunnaki, the gods, I mean, this is well known, but it's been kept from us. Until now. Until now.
Fire, fire, everybody fire. Guess what? It's too late. We've already merged.
Yes, this is John X Army.
Has already merged. The Neuralink's the next step.
So 300 people are watching.
Make that clear. I'm pretty sure that either A.
You don't even know what Neuralink is, though, I'm sure.
They
Like,
don't even know it. And it is changing our DNA and our genes and our brains. Or B.
Again,
That's where I'm at.
we were already, that's technology in the Saturn realm. And now we are waking up. As somebody said in the chat room, this is how the wheat is separated from the tare, to see who has a real spirit and who doesn't. You know, I mean, I'm disclosing this, but in a little bit of a different way. And I think that it's important that my perspective gets out there.
You know what I mean? I'm stuck to no truth. This is subject to change. The minute you
Can you hear this?
You plant your feet down. The minute you say this is the truth, all other possibilities are closed off, and you become a fool. So I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely ever evolving. Every moment.
I haven't stopped and stuck to any one thing along my whole journey. I go down the rabbit holes.
But see, a lot of people in chat are very upset and bothered by this. This is just hitting them out of nowhere, you know?
I'm not ready to.
And I have a few things to say.
I found the truth yet.
Thank you, Dee.
But I mean, think about.
Like, I know it. I know that I can bring comfort to the people. Why would anybody want an entire society of fearful people?
My grandparents still had a black and white.
I don't understand.
Unmovable TV that barely got reception. My mother and father.
Nice, Red. Thanks for resubscribing. Yeah, Crystal Energy, but there's some pretty, like I spoke of earlier, like Jesus of Nazareth, who stole the name Jesus. He also took a lot of the ideas from the true incarnation of the Holy Spirit at that time, and he put a twist on them that was very dangerous and dangerous for the minds of the people. And I do feel like I see that in some of this kind of content. So that's the only reason that I'm here addressing it. And it's not to create any hate or any kind of an uprise. It's so that I'm desperate to give my understanding of these things. And it's like if I had had people with me along the way that were able to keep up, but I couldn't because my channel has been censored. And I know that it's been censored. Like, sure, there's going to be people that don't like me, don't care for my content, don't want to hear it from a girl, don't want to hear it from a mixed biracial chick, you know, whatever it might be. Like, I'm not even, it doesn't matter. Like, some people relate more to anybody but me, and I completely can appreciate that. But I know for a fact that my content has been censored, and the algorithms are very strange. They somehow it goes to certain people that have been following me since the beginning, but it doesn't go to others. Like Red said, it's just he had to resubscribe. I had somebody text me that I'm very close with today that said that they had to resubscribe, and they haven't been getting things. So just stuff like I'm not alone. I know that there's many that are going through that type of thing.
The picture was blurry and fuzzy. I didn't even know it.
But it's frustrating to me because, like I said, I don't have the same tools that others have had along the way, and I get like frantic because I feel like I need to get this information to a larger amount of people.
So I'd pick up the wall phone and I'd call, and my
So I don't know. I'm gonna go back. You can stick with me if you want. If not, I understand. But I'm gonna go back and go over some of this in a minute.
Come to the door. There'd be no way of knowing where they were at, and I'd play in their front yard for the next 4 or 5 hours until they got home. Oh, where have you been? I've been waiting here all day. I didn't know you were leaving. Who remembers that childhood? This is not the same reality as that. And I'm not talking about just because we've upgraded technologically. I'm not talking about just because the population has increased. I am talking about that is
Who
a
is?
completely different reality. Like the Twilight Zone. That
Oh, your wife. Oh, yikes.
was realer than this, right?
I know. I've heard you say that, Red. It's okay.
Which is the Twilight Zone? The modern day?
I
or the
understand.
past? Because one
I
of them are
understand.
just like an episode out of the Twilight Zone. I took my son back to his mother's this weekend, and he played video games on his phone the whole way there with other people, multiplayer. I grew up and we didn't even barely have a color TV, let alone a computer or a cell phone.
So one of the main things that I want to say about this stuff that we're talking about here is that, you know, we are in a collective dream of God. That's what I've learned. I've shared a little bit of that, but I haven't gone into it because I didn't feel like I'm all about disclosing truth, but I'm also trying to understand and grasp these things for myself before I try to put them into words. And I don't necessarily search out the simulation theory because I think things like, I don't know about Elon Musk, I'm not 100% sure, but I think certain things lend themselves to a darker agenda, and I'm not going to research that way because there's wrong information, in my opinion, when in those areas. So I have not disclosed all of what I know, but what I do know is that we are in a dream of God. We are in a created universe. And what I really wanted to go over was at the beginning when he spoke about, like, you're not real, your skin's not real. Like, that's scary. I've been very delicately over my past probably 5 or 6 videos talking about where I'm talking about how we are literally physical matter in a physical realm, and that yes, it emanates, but I give the description of what emanate is and just how we are. It's a hierarchically emitted hey, Oh, I know. I see that he's trying to paint himself as the Christ. Yeah, I'm trying not to look at the crystal because I understand that there's certain demonic activity around all these people flashing crystals in the it's crystal magic, dude. I mean, I'm all about rocks and crystals. I love them, but I don't get on and flash them to a large amount of people. Like, there is still such a thing as soul traps. I keep on releasing all of these people from the soul traps over and over in all of these different ways that I know it's happening. Even on the gematria calculator, the constantly redoing these spells that I've already broken. Like, that's what I do. I break spells constantly that have been put on the entire humanity, constantly breaking spells, and they're constantly trying to redo them in any way that they can, any way, shape, or form. And that's where magic has become a very bad thing. Oh, did they, Spartan? I saw you. Oh, you were unmodded. Yeah, stuff like that, you know, because it's very controlled. And I wanted to be excited when he made a change, but I've been watching closely. So, but I'm not here to like decide what he doesn't believe or stand for. I just know that he has a lot of viewers and that he's throwing some really dangerous ideas out there. They're dangerous when he doesn't have a full understanding, and it's just the same as the fear porn, if not worse at this point. And it makes me wonder, like, what's going on. But I'm not here to call him out necessarily on that. I just want to give my 2 cents on what I... So if you go back to my video from 2 nights ago, which one was it? Hang on. Schumann resonance is doing weird stuff. I was looking at that earlier. It's doing good stuff. Like, I've also been able to regulate the frequencies, but they keep on being changed back. It's crazy, you guys. It's crazy. And I love to share this with all you. But yeah, I've been putting some of the ancient frequencies back into Earth. I am able to do that. Now that we've raised in our consciousness, we're actually higher than some of the other programmers of this reality. And I've been able to program reality. So, of course, I'm doing my best, but I'm up against a lot of darkness and a lot of agenda and a lot of soullessness, people without consciousness, people without compassion, people without a heart. And so I've been trying to work on them because I feel like, what are you supposed to do? Just get rid of them completely? I can't, I don't have it in me to do that. Even if I'm connected to a creator, I've been taught my whole life, and it felt right to me, to not kill, to not, you know, I don't know that it's like my place right now to remove people from, even if it's a game of sorts. It's not a game for people that don't know they're playing it. Heart is a requirement. Well, I think it will be at some point, and I think that I'm just trying to see who wants to live and who wants true life, because that's why I came on here, is to speak about this is an opportunity. We have an opportunity to make this real. This was taken away. Creation was taken away. Our original covenant with God was taken away. The original people knew, and like the Mayans and the ites in the Bible, the ones that come and go interdimensionally, like they know. We know. The ones, yeah, we're aliens, you know, but so is every other human. Every human is a technology of sorts, but they're just not connected to spirit. And we have a chance to now take this creation back and make it real. And a lot of the people that I come on here talking about, yeah, I know, Rachel, you have great ideas. Yeah, and it's tough because I have to watch them anyways, because I want to know what they're feeding into the minds of all, because we are a collective consciousness. It's a collective dream. Whether people understand this construct or not, they're still physical, they're conscious, and they're experiencing. And And, you know, the ones that we've taken this back from have wanted to make human beings into cattle and keep it that way. That was their goal. That was their desire. That's why, you know, you heard on like Leak Project the other day, while I don't agree with everything he says, some of the points, like I would love to sit here and go over some of the points that he made and tell you my perspective on them. But I'm probably not gonna do that. But this is important because I know that God's chosen. We come together, and it's important that we know these things. And God's people, God's chosen, whatever you want to say. All I know is that I'm not on Satan's side, okay? I know that, and I know that I'm up against this like entire world that is, and most of them don't even know it. Most of them don't even realize it. And that was a pretty scary realization to me. I've had to really grapple with that and really try to wrap my head around that. So I go through my own stuff, but it's like I share that. It's my journey, you know, it is. It's just my journey. But when I see all this stuff coming out, especially the stuff that I cover that's then stifled and then they come out with it, like, but it's twisted. I mean, after I did my 2 live streams this morning, I went into the gematria calculator and they had taken almost everything. I said, I don't know how they do it. I don't know who's doing it. I don't understand all of it. But literally, like, a lot of what I had put out there, they rearranged it. Let me think of like what a few of them were. Hijack streaming. Hey Barefoot. Thanks for being here, Crystal Energy, Barefoot, Rochelle. I love you guys. So anyway, let's see. I'm probably gonna go back over some, but what I did go over the other day on this live stream. So yeah, I mean, I try to keep them kind of short if you want to go back and hear what I'm saying. It's a lot of information, right? It's a whole lot of information. It talked about emanating through the golden sun disk and how emanation works. And I went over that in these 2 live streams, the resistance from the evil. And I was talking about all of the things that we're mentioning in chat and the things that I'm kind of like countering. That's exactly what I was addressing. We all have the seed of the Creator. Every living being does in our hearts. It's just that not everybody's connecting to spirit. And for some reason, there's this whole agenda to try to prevent people from connecting to spirit. But from what I understand, that Saturn realm that's being run by these devils and like by this evil that, you know, want to keep people asleep and want to turn humans into cattle, that is going to be removed. All of the innocent people will be removed, aka raptured, aka moving into... You know I should probably show myself, but I feel so embarrassed talking. So anyway, I'll say hi and then... Hi, guys. So, all right. So, literally, we are moving into the higher realms. We can make this a real dream back like the original covenant with God. Removed. No, I'm not saying you're going to be removed. I speak about a lot that we are being brought into the higher realms. We're on a cosmic spiral, and that Earth, we were in the lower realms, even if it didn't look like it. You look around, it looks like a paradise a lot of times, but a lot of people were experiencing a conscious hell. And this is true. Heaven and hell are places on Earth, because we are spirit experiencing for God. And you know, the Catholics and whatnot, they lied about what heaven was and what hell was. You know, right around the time that I was coming out with a lot of these truths about heaven and hell and Earth being kind of more of a purgatory than anything, like Earth actually being purgatory, you know, I saw a lot of those like accounts of people that went to hell when they died. Well, I'm not so sure about all of that. I'm not here to take away from somebody's own experience. If they really had an out of body experience where they experienced brimstone and fire, but the fire hell that I know about, it's being experienced right now by many. It's spiritual fire, and it does burn. It hurts. A lot of us have been there before. Um, Not because God put us there, because we've condemned ourselves because of the teachings that we've been taught this whole time. But we make our way out of that, and we rise and we rise. But we kept on, even if we weren't, reincarnated, we were kept in like a purgatory situation. That's something that I've also gone over. Thank you. Hi, Taylor. And so, like, now heaven has opened. We've been able to collectively open up a higher realm, which is heaven on earth. It's the time that's been spoken about. It's the 1,000-year reign of peace. It's Christ's reign. Christ is returned. I actually don't love the word Christ because it means crucifixion. But anyway, you understand where I'm coming from. Like I said, we're going to take all of these terms back. So Jesus is back on earth, and also operating from outside of this realm. And that's a lot of what kind of John was mentioning, and people in the chat, I was so proud of them. They're like, well, Jesus is outside of the simulation. Exactly. That's our higher self. That is all of our higher selves. We're just disconnected. It is like the serpent in the garden. But anyway, we're moving up the cosmic spiral out of Earth, through Mercury, into Jupiter. Mercury is the old Earth, and we were here to kind of get the truth of what all happened. And he even mentioned that on here. I'm going to go back to his video and go around to the beginning and see what he was saying. And these are just like big ideas that I'm throwing out there for everybody to think about for themselves. But I do have somewhat of an understanding of this. And it's important to me to get these ideas out, even if so that we can all think about them and come to the truth. That's why we're all here. We all deserve to have all of the information. I don't know why this is skipping. Super weird. Did I speed it up or something? Normal, okay. All right. Yeah, exactly. And I've even tried to interact. Like a lot of times when I'm reaching out, that's all I'm doing. I'm reaching out and I'm trying to interact, because a lot of times, but that's how I know that not everybody's coming from a place of love. Like some people are put in place. It's hard to say with many though, because they seem so genuine. They seem like you and me. But you know what? Some of it is satanic artificial intelligence, literally. It's the satanic artificial intelligence. I speak about this, the fact that the mark of the beast is accepting satanic artificial intelligence doctrine into your mind's eye and allowing it to overtake your thinking. And I desperately wanted to stop that from happening to as many people as I could. But I just have to realize that maybe not everybody was meant, but I don't want to see the hell and the torments consciously anymore. I want to see people not be overtaken by these false ideas. Humanity is enslaved by ideas. And that's why truth sets you free. And so that is what the mark of the beast actually is. Okay, it's accepting the false doctrine as truth and spreading it with passion. So that's why sometimes the most devout Christians that are out there are actually the most infiltrated by Satan, by satanic artificial intelligence. It's quite wild. Hey again, nice to have you here. Are they really Jax? Okay, well, we can lift that. So I ask that that be lifted. Please, Father in heaven, lighten the energies everywhere. I read not too long ago that a lot of people wouldn't be able to handle the frequencies that Zeus was bringing, which just means Jesus, which means all of us that are here for the return of God. We bring with us, and it's coming from also outside of us, frequencies that are raising consciousness. They're not going to stay that way forever. It evens out. I can tell you from a personal place that I feel really good. It's evened out. I don't get anxiety all the time. I'm constantly praying that fear and anxiety, like it was said earlier, we weren't given fear by God. That was man-made. It's so true. That was satanic artificial intelligence that I'm talking about. That I please that be removed from the minds and the hearts of all of humanity. Anything caused of the artificial intelligence and the false teachings that caused the anxiety and caused the fear, causes anger, please remove that from the mind's eye and the hearts of all of humanity, so that we have a fair chance to see who does want to exist, who does want to move into a real world. We can have all 7 billion people living together in harmony. We don't have to live in a place of duality. Duality, maybe, but not when it comes to breaking the golden rule all over the place, or enslavement or oppression. That does not have to be the case. And so duality has been taken and misinterpreted, and then you hear all of this false light teaching. There's a lot of false light teaching out there, and that is that you're supposed to love your enemy. Well, how are you going to love them while they're still transgressing, and while they're still beating the crap out of you mentally and physically, like literally, from other realms, from outside? I mean, if there's that secret covenant, and we can go over it right now again, but I'll send you over to my friend Lucid Queen's page, and she actually went over the entire thing, so I'll link that video. I don't know if it'll go very far, but this is important information. Even if just a few of us have it, that's fine. I'm just here to give my information to the ones that are awake and do understand and are here to experience life the way that we know we were meant to. Like, why did you hang on? Why did I hang on through all of the trials and tribulations and sometimes hell that we experienced on this earth? Why? Because we knew that there was not just more, but that we were supposed to experience life properly and the way that it was intended, and that we have that original covenant with God instilled in our minds, in our hearts. And so that's why we probably pulled through the most intense stuff to get here. Yeah, no, it can be really weird, Jax, when you're breaking out of Saturn realm, and a lot of it is conscious, okay? So, but obviously that affects you physically. So it literally feels very strange a lot of times, but I can tell you that I feel so much better now. Like, I did a lot of grounding. I'm sure you do that, Jack Streaming, where you go outside and you put your bare feet on the ground. You really try to, it's hard to meditate or like to shut your mind off or anything. So you just have to kind of move moment by moment to get through it. But I got through it. I feel really good. I'm almost untouchable by what I was just going to talk about, the fallen serpents that are, yes, they are inhabiting many, okay? They inhabit the bodies of many. This is spirit world. We can't see it. And yeah, if this is more like simulation type thing, it's simulation, but it's physical. We're in a physical matrix. So don't let that scare you. That's really a big part of this. Don't let that scare you. This is amazing creation. But without love, guess what? You're dang right, it sucks. But yeah, I'll point you to Lucid Queen's video where she speaks about Hi, Dana. Oh, nice. I like the name change. Oh, cool. Thank you so much, Craig. Thank you. Thank you. Much love to you. Blessings, Karen. Hi. So it's weird, like, okay, so I just have to allow myself to get my thoughts together sometimes. I don't have to be in a rush. I know. I was like, thank you for being here. Um, but sometimes I do. I feel like, oh, I don't have my stuff together as well as these people do. I'm going to put this down for a moment. Okay, so the fallen serpents are operating behind the veil and they're working through people. It is what we know as possession, I guess, but it's more than that. Like, some of these people were actually built and born to do this. 1,000 years ago, when the Bible was rewritten and things were changed with Confucianism, there were beings that started, they wanted to experience through human bodies again. And that is what's going to be taken away from them if they don't stop. I don't know if they can be healed or not. I'm doing my best. And I see messages that I shouldn't be trying to heal humanity, or I shouldn't be trying to like heal Satan. But I don't know exactly what else to do besides just, anyway, let's not go there. So I have banished them to the lower realms, but they always rise back up. Like, they have all these weird ways of operating behind the veil. And so I will send you to Lucian Queen's video where she goes over that secret covenant, where she talks about, she shows you what their secret covenant has been and how they are all in it together to keep humanity asleep, and that they're terrified of us getting to the place that we are getting, because they know that they will be completely banished from this existence. But, they obviously want to experience life because their spirit's experiencing. So they have a sickness that needs to be healed because they don't understand. They have the problem with the heart and no consciousness, no compassion. And, that's where, when Satan did his project with Adam and Eve and all of this, it didn't exactly turn out the way it was supposed to, because he did it absent of love. And in order to have a successful creation, you have to have love instilled. So, 1,000 years ago, some of these beings were born and they've reincarnated over and over, but this is what they were built for. This is what they were meant to do. And it's really wild. But a lot of us come back, and we're here to set humanity free and take the realms back. And from what I understand, Saturn is not going to be existent. Like, it's going to be replaced, because Saturn is necessary for the universe to work properly, but it's broken. It's completely broken. And the gods that are in the moons, like, they might be listening right now, but y'all are going to be replaced. It doesn't mean that you have to be removed. Everybody is forgivable, regardless, believe it or not. There is forgiveness for everybody. And many of the kings and queens and powerful people, they still do want to exist. So if they want to continue to exist, they're going to come around. And in order to still exist, they will be forgiven, but they're not going to rule. That doesn't mean that they're going to be slaves. There is no slaves in heaven. Like, so it just, and God has equal gifts and love for everybody. So especially once you've repented, sometimes more than, heaven is more rejoiceful when somebody who really needs to repent does, over somebody who's goes to confession every week. Of course, makes sense. And so it's really all about unity and helping everybody understand that it's just, this is it. The time is now. Things are changing. You see all these reports changing in the universe, in the sphere. Everything's in control. God has everything under control. So we have nothing to worry about. The Father in heaven has everything in divine order. Um, I don't have all the answers, so I don't claim to, but let's hear what he had to say about a few things before I go.
Everybody doing today?
I hope he doesn't mind.
And here's why I want to talk about simulation theory. Some of you guys know I had a spiritual awakening, and when I did, I saw ones and zeros, binary code.
Hi, David. Hi, Jackie.
Which could be unlocking genes or DNA within myself. But over the past 6 months, I have not only interviewed people who have also saw binary code, but I know some people personally that have came to Patreon, came to my private groups, and we've talked. There are a lot of people who, when they wake up, they witness binary code coming into their mind. Now also, if you think back to the 80s, remember that Air Force base where the guys walked up and they touched the UFO? Didn't one of them see binary code too? But anyway,
Okay, so it does have to do with quarks, but you know, and what we see in the sky, it's like God's green screen, so to speak. Okay, it's not like, that's why they came out with all of the Project Bluebeam stuff, because they knew this time was coming. They've been emulating the universe. Venus is the false light that cut us off from the true light, and we couldn't see what the actual Omniverse was holding above. That's why everybody's waking up, and they are being raptured, whether they realize it or not, out of the matrix, out of the Saturn matrix. The Saturn matrix is breaking down. We're actually, we can see the heavens like we're supposed to. We can see, we're reconnecting to like the living waters above, like we're supposed to originally have been. Yeah, it's strange because we were never taught that we were already technology, that we were already in a body as spirits experiencing. And so I apologize if it's shocking to anybody when I say these things, because I know for me, I've had to really undo so much programming. But I'm hoping that I'm helping undo it for many people. You know, I'm hoping that I'm like taking the brunt of it for at least a set of people, because it's not pleasant to go through this and to try to undo childhood programming and to try to wrap your head around these things without all the answers and without the comforts of like angels speaking to you directly, or you know, you really have to trust your heart. You really have to tune into God and really get back to our original gifts, of, you know, the clairvoyancy, which is different than I thought it was. It's literally, you know, our mind's eye really does hold a lot, but I didn't understand what that meant or looked like or sounded like, but now I do. And I am much more fully connected now, so I feel confident about that. But Venus like stole the light, cut us off from it, and you're gonna see all this stuff like Jesus is Venus and you know, this and that. No, it's not. I've said always since the beginning of my channel, I don't know why, but those messages resonated with me so much. It is not Saturn and it is not Venus. Saturn and Venus are the ones that stole this creation from God and humanity. That's why you see all the weird stuff taking place in the universe, because things are being Queen Tiamat is taking her matrix back. This is her matrix that she originally created. It's the Omniverse that's created for man, not man for the Omniverse. When Saturn and Venus took it over, they're greedy, the lustful, they didn't have the heart. I don't mean to call names, but they weren't built with love. But everybody has the spirit, the seed of God in their hearts. That's the only way. So we do have love in our hearts, but it wasn't built in the same way that we were originally built as the original humans. That doesn't make us better or worse. That just makes us have to work harder to try to get our brothers and sisters to reconnect with us. But yeah, it has to do with quarks, and I've explained that there's like a lot emanated from the stars and the higher realms. And the moon is actually, the reason it's called a moon matrix is because it literally emanates the solar system, believe it or not. And it's not breaking down, it's very much intact. I have video that I've shared before, if you go back not too long ago, where there's actually 2 other moons directly next to our moon. I can't see them physically with my eyes. I can actually. I have been for months and months seeing something like another circle kind of at the edge of the moon that looks like it's like overlapping a little. But I actually finally got my telescope out on the perfect night and saw there's other moons, you know, and moons are the same thing as stars, are the same thing as suns, but they're all playing different roles, and they are ascended beings. They do represent gods and higher beings. So maybe that's where they're saying there's millions of simulations, like, but they're working together, and that's why Jesus is the creator, because this is the creation of Jesus. The original one was Tiamat, which is the star Sirius, which is also Mercury, strangely enough. And that is what is orbiting our sun elliptically right now, because it's emanating down to us. And like I said, we go through the old earth creation to find the truth, and we're coming up into Jupiter realm, which is the highest realm of consciousness here in this universe. And yes, the moon is emanated, the solar system is emanated by the moon. It's a lot of stuff. Venus, yeah, so it plays a part, and astrology is not completely accurate. I just want to say, but it is, like, wherever you feel like it is and it applies, it is. But, every part of the universe is important, so Venus plays an important role. But, so that doesn't take away from, like, what it says about you or who you feel and how you feel connected to Venus. It just, at some point, the actual being of Venus, the ones that actually embody, because like I've explained, the Holy Spirit comes down here, which is Jesus embodied fully as certain people. Well, same with the spirit of Venus or the spirit of Satan. We see that a lot right now, but not unless they're fully connected. You can't really. So you're not, I'm not saying that because you're ruled by Venus, like, it's separate. I don't know if this is making any sense, but it's like actually separate. It doesn't change anything. Like, the actual ruling goddess of Venus will be replaced and everything will be fixed, but it doesn't take away from, like, how it affects you or your stars or when you were born. It's still in a working motion. It's just that the spirit of Venus that really truly embodied, like, humans, it actually helped to usurp creation with Satan. And that's where you hear a lot about, like, Lilith, and you hear about all these other queens like Aphrodite, and they're not the same as the Holy Spirit that I talk about and the incarnations of the different queens that I talk about. I'm actually finding out that I was very possibly Queen Victoria in my last lifetime. So that's pretty cool. But there's been many queens and kings throughout time that have come back and reincarnated, but at some point the king and queens that weren't all about love and weren't all about, so it was an individual incarnation, but then it stuck because they've done everything they can to just overtake it and continue to overtake it. So I hope that makes sense. Oh yeah, well, Lucifer, Lucifer is the Holy Spirit embodied. That is the incarnation of the Holy Spirit right now. I'm going to put this down for a minute. Lucifer is that angel, and I've gone over that many times on my channel. So that's something I've really tried to clear up, but I'm going to be clearing it up until more and more people understand it for themselves. Yes, Sirius, exactly. So Sirius is the true queen. That is Jesus. That is the Holy Spirit's star. That's where Earth is emanated from. That's many of our home planets is Sirius. So it gets really confusing, and there's a lot of times where even like there was multiple kings and queens named at one time, but it was the same spirit. So it gets really, really complicated, and I try to clear it up as much as possible. But yeah, Lucifer is the angel that comes down to save everybody. Well, along with a lot of other gods people. But, you know, that's why Lucifer was demonized by the satanic teachings. And that's why everybody's so quick to blame everything on Lucifer. But Lucifer is actually the one that's full of love for God's children and comes up against the nations and starts to make new laws and starts a new government in order to free the people. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. So that's where, and I always knew, even way before I studied this stuff, I always knew that like Satan and Lucifer were not the same, but that they made it seem like they were the same. But I knew that they weren't. It was weird. But yeah, and so I've gone over that. I'll try to link that here in this description as well, where I've gone over that several times about how you can prove it to yourself and read it for yourself. If you look at the scripture, it's so clear. And I've even done entire videos on where I found my information that let me know. Sometimes it's just real quick, and then it just gets reconfirmed and reconfirmed over and over and over. This is one of those things with that embodiment. So that would be one of the current embodiments of the Holy Spirit, would be Lucifer. But of course, she is demonized. And yes, many people, especially Christians, believe that Lucifer and Satan are the same, and they're absolutely not. They're brother and sister. So Lucifer is Jesus back. Lucifer is the female Jesus that is back. Straight up. So let's keep going. But yeah, quarks. That's what I was going to say. Quarks. Things are emanated down here, but they go through. I never have the right words for emanation. It's a hierarchically sent out like matter. It's like dark matter, and it's sent out, and it goes through many phases. It's sent out from a Godhead, a specific point, just like we were just talking about, like the star, that would be the Godhead, sent out, and it goes through many different realms and processes, and it creates matter, hardcore physical matter. So you are real. This is real. And we have a chance to make it even more real as we all become connected to the true spirit again. That's what creation was originally meant to be, was everybody understood these things coming in. Not this reincarnation thing where it's been lost and satanic artificial intelligence has infiltrated everything and it's just all been lost. That's what makes this so hard to explain, you know, and to understand. So
this smooth so that I don't get a copyright strike. The first clip you need to see, whole judgment about simulation theory until the very
thanks
end
for
of this
sticking
video,
with me,
because
guys, by the
I've
way.
a bunch of clips. I'm going to try to get them in without getting copyrighted, okay?
This is so important for at least a few of us to understand, you know? It really is.
Living in a simulation or not. Check it out. Let's get started. What one question would you ask General AI?
So when or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
Yes, exactly. Conscious evolution, you're right.
What's outside
That's
the
our home
simulation?
planet. What's outside the
What's
simulation?
outside the simulation
Well,
is what Elon would ask. If he
I
had
have
the
that
chance
question
to ask
also.
AI one question, he would want to know.
But like people were saying in the chat, Jesus is. And I agree with that totally. And this is where we just trust, and we will be given the answers. We will have full truth, and we also have the full truth in our heart. That's why they say data is just repeated information. Interesting. Oh no, thank you. I'm glad you're here. It makes me feel really good to know that you guys are here and that you can hear me, because I can't just sit here with all this stuff. So thank you, John X Army, for doing this show, because it gives me the opportunity to get all of these things that I've been learning about and thinking about, because he said, you know, I've been searching since I heard about this binary code. And I remember years ago, scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson having a show where he was talking to that other scientist, and come to find out, those guys are actors. So that's why, you know, it said that this is all like a big Truman Show type thing. Not because it's all fake, but because Saturn is a puppet show. Saturn is just to keep that data repeating and to keep the artificial intelligence like going and to keep people asleep at any cost. And so they even said, you know, when you look at the smallest little particles, it's computer code. And people talk about the zeros and ones. Well, I want you to know that the movie The Matrix was not completely correct at all. And there were many dangerous ideas within that as well. So right where it really matters, these things have been flipped. And that's where I come in to just give like my feeble little keys. Well, they're not feeble, they're huge, profound keys, but my knowledge isn't necessarily up to speed with these actors. But some of these people are, oh, I just said it, actors. You know, they're not the scientists that we think they are and we give them credit for. They're actually in place to use certain words, phrases, um, to to play with the psychology of the masses. And so just try to understand that these things have been, they knew this time was coming where we would all be waking up and being like, well, what is creation? What is this? What's that? It's so much different than anything that's out there. And that's why I wanted to address this. So thank you, John, for letting me come on here, because it's the most amazing thing ever. Obviously, we can tell. Yeah, right? I love what you have to say, Mr. D. Hey, what's up, Maria?
What was outside the simulation? Do you know what his one question implies? It implies
I might have gone over most of what he said already that I wanted to address, but we'll just take a quick look.
But wait, don't pass judgment yet.
So do go back and hear what we were all talking about.
Moving forward.
Nothing exists outside of the
Let's go to
Creator.
the next clip.
That's an interesting theory.
Listen to this. So you're saying as you dig deeper.
Oh, there it is. That's what I was just talking about.
Computer code. Writ in the fabric of the cosmos. Into the equations that we want to use to describe the cosmos. Yes. Computer code. Computer code. Strings or bits of ones and zeros. It's not just sort of.
You know, and a while ago I did have a really cool message that I've put into videos that explained that only giant Jesus exists. So, you know, thank you. That's probably what this means. But yeah, source and sovereign beings live outside of me. I believe that, Kirk Plain. I 100% believe that. I think that they're just like us. This might be a micro kind of situation, where, you know, and I have said it for a while now, we just have to look at this as childlike, that, you know, we are on the mantle of God, kind of like God's pets in a way. But that's why it's important for us to take it back. You can't just have a bunch of like conscious, heartless people walking around. It's not right. It's just not right. That's why light workers and, you know, the rainbow children and the sovereign beings, it's so important for us to reach out now and help everybody understand these things, not necessarily with the same ideas that, hello, with the same ideas that we see being put out there on a massive scale.
Resembles computer code, saying it is computer code. It's not even just is computer code, it's a special kind of computer code.
Now, if you don't know, it's science fact that we live in a holographic world.
So he stopped it right when he was going to go into it's a special kind of computer code. Do any of you remember what he says after that? I'm sure he goes into the fact that it's quarks, so maybe research quarks and how things are turned into physical matter. But I've really had to toy with these ideas myself, and it hasn't always been easy, but I'm very comfortable with them now. And I think it's just important to remember that we are at physical. Hi, I am Monica. Hey, what's up, Rebel? All right, let's see what else he has to say that I want to address real quick.
And string theory, supersymmetry. When you get down to the bits.
So maybe other stars, well, I know other stars are like higher alien beings. So maybe they're having their own simulations, but I think that when we gain our own sovereignty, we get to have our own kind of universe. It becomes very real. So this is all a gift. Creation is a gift, but without love, it totally sucks. It's totally scary. So that's why it's, you know, a lot of you in here will always remind me to stay in love and things like that. That doesn't mean love the person that's tormenting humanity. That doesn't, okay? It means because loving them won't help them. I mean, obviously love, but in a different way. In a different way than we're loving each other, loving, you know, to love them would be not doing them favors in the same ways that we understand love. Hang on. Can I do anything for you? Okay. I don't know. That's not coming out right, but I hope you hear what I'm saying. Yes, love is the gift of truth. Kirk Plain, you always have really amazing words. Thank you. Well, and it's a lot. Hi, Yuel. Nice to have you here. Really good to have you here.
The same thing people see when they truly wake up. When your third eye opens, you see sacred geometry. You see holographic sacred geometry.
I do remember in 2012. Now, supposedly there was not that many survivors of 2012, and at some point, 2012 still hadn't happened yet. So the future is the past, and I saw that being mentioned in this. That is true. I believe that we've come back to save more of humanity. When we see the Georgia Guidestones, that was a memorial that was made by sovereign beings in the future. So I believe that we came back to save humanity because that will change. That can and will change. And I'm sure that this has something to do with the Mandela effect as well. You know, that we are changing the outcome of the future with consciousness and allowing more and more people to have and be conscious.
In plants and animals and all around you, you see ones and zeros come into your body.
Oh yeah, but I do. I remember when I first woke up in 2012, it was very weird and very abrupt, and I really started going through some of the. I see that there was like 12 survivors of 2012. I don't really know what that means, but I always see that there's like 12 angels, archangels, 12 beings that really survived during that time. I'm not really clear on all of that. These are just messages that I get. I mean, I'm clear on some of it, but anyway, I remember myself seeing not binary code, but like it was like sparks, like a TV screen, and it really freaked me out, honestly, because we didn't have this information, because we didn't know that we were technology in a way to begin with spirits that we were here experiencing. Do you see that that got taken by Satan? And that's why we were all put back to sleep. And for some of us, I guess it was imperative to not remember this. This is the never-ending story, and now we're entering the happy ending of that never-ending story. That's what the 1,000 years of peace is. But we want to bring as many people with us as possible.
Does it mean?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Here, I've got a couple more clips lined up. Let's look at them and then we'll talk.
There are many, many simulations. These simulations are, you might as well call them reality, or you could call them multiverse.
There are many, many simulations.
And I see that Yeshua is in charge of all the multiverses, whatever that means, but I believe it.
Is each we've been taught to believe the universe is actually a multiverse with different dimensions, and then
And so I think that I already kind of went over some of that, that I believe that it could be all the different stars, celestial beings out there. And then maybe as we become more sovereign beings, that's why we have our own tesseract, our own, that's how we are emanated from above. Like, we chose to be here. We want to be doing this. Just keep that in mind. That's something I've had to tell myself over and over. We want to experience. We just really desperately want to get back to love. And that's what this is. It is a return to love. Oops.
the universe is still expanding right now. Could that mean it's not even all the way fired up? Think about even the Indian yogis. Sadhguru, all these Indian yogis.
And some of that I don't know. I'm looking into. Do you understand that, what the yogis say? Yeah, I love that, Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here.
Spirit, everything here in the physical world, it's all illusion. It's not real. That almost
So
sounds
that's
like
where I
these
disagree.
Indian
I disagree
yogis from ancient
with the way that it's being presented. Yeah, that's what I believe, Taylor. I 100% believe that. And that's where, if Jesus is experiencing this on, and we're all part of that spirit, that's where the more and more people become sovereign, the more they have their own sphere of experience and can have their own, they'll be given the star, they'll be given their own book of life, so to speak.
Vedas. They even knew
Hey, Aurora.
that this is a simulation. But let's look at a couple
I
more
just got to
clips.
read that. Yeah. UL says, "You're not here is not the full you. It's just like a finger and a glove we call a body." I love that. I know what you're saying.
A couple more lined up. Then we're going to keep talking. Because I want to see what's
Yes, we are one. Like, our heart is the star. So we keep hearing about the magnetic heart, but in actuality, it's electrical. And that's what we're getting back, is our electrical nature. See, I only have like certain keys. And when I say these things, I don't always fully understand. But then now we're coming together with our keys, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you. But yes, our heart is a star. And that's where the creator, the seed of the creator is in all of our hearts. And we're getting back to our electrical nature. And once we reestablish that and reconnect it to the parietal lobe, then, you know, that's where we become sovereign beings. Yeah, you must reconnect to creator, exactly.
Chance that Lucifer's reality.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
And he just repeats himself. I don't want to play too much copyrighted content. And he repeats himself again. He said, I think there's a 1 in billions chance that this is base reality. So let's think about it for a second. Let me give you an example here. We got a piece of paper. Damn, I don't have an ink pen. Let's draw a heart on this piece of paper, okay? It'll be a 2D heart on this piece of paper. That 2D heart, even if it was conscious, it would never be aware of anything.
So I don't understand, like, that's what I mean. Why is he,
And that would explain.
John, why are you pushing that so much? Like, why are you pushing, like, we're not real? I don't know. To me, it's a strange way to present this information, okay? I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, Ashley's on it. She said the future is the past.
The future is the
Now
past. We
check
just
this out.
talked
Why
about that.
would they run a simulation first of all, to begin with? Well, if you could run a simulation.
Okay, so I went over all of that. I think I'm done with that. But yeah, I don't know, guys. That's it, really. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Oh, yeah. Yep, exactly. Alberto. But yeah, we choose to be here. We want to be here. We chose to not remember to some levels. Many of us did, but many of us had to be reawakened. We are Atlas and we are awakening. And that's what's happening right here. We have many of you. Just keep a close eye on the rest of humanity, because I'm like, how many sovereign people really exist? You know, that's one weird thing with my numbers. I was like, there has to be more people in this world that care, you know, and that want this information. And of course, yes, they do. But I wonder how actual many. From what I understand, there are 144,000 people that came in fully connected. And yeah, peace and love to you as well. And then, of course, all of the rest that awaken after that. But we came into a world full of people that were of the Adam and Eve creation. But we came here to bring them into the higher realms, into Jupiter realm, so that if they do want to experience life in creation, like we do choose here to be, that we can do that in a sovereign way, without all of the oppression and without the interference and without the pain, in harmony, without sickness, in full health, with abundance, without any food shortages, without any of the negativity that we've experienced. Obviously, there's, you know, learning experiences. Nothing should ever be perfect and shiny, and, you know, that would be artificial just as well. But as long as we stick to the golden rule, we can't go too wrong. Universal platinum law is really important. The 10 Commandments were actually put there for a reason. It was to protect us from, you know, condemning ourselves or hurting others. And that's what it comes down to. So we're just getting back to the true law. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all being here. I know, right, Aurora? It seems high lately, right? Oh, thank you. I am Monica. I love your channel. Everybody check each other's channels out. Conscious, let me see, would you change your name to? well, I don't know, it is up here in the top. There he is. The Conscious Evolution has a channel. Jack's Dreaming has an amazing channel. Kirk Plain, I've seen that you do some speaking as well. I love you all. Thank you. And I Am Monica has a really awesome channel. I've been really enjoying your insights. Awesome, Taylor. That gives me a great reason. It feels like I'm connecting with more of our people than ever. So I definitely will. I was on Gina Maria Colvin Hill's live stream last night, and she was like, it's really weird. Like, tonight was a really nice live stream. And I have to say, from what I understand, like I told you some of the prayers that I've been giving and that I've been shown to give. And, you know, some of these really dark entities, not that they've been banished, but they have been sectioned off away from humanity as much as possible for now, until some more fixing can be done. And so there is less interference right now, and it is very, very noticeable, and it is a relief. I actually physically feel so much better than I have ever. Not that I wasn't feeling great as of recently, but as of the past several days, now that I know that many of these actual spirits have been really kind of walled off, I feel really good physically too, and mentally, so it's been really great. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Uel. It's good to see you. Yeah, 10 Commandments couldn't have worked because the people had no heart to fulfill it. So we just pray that these people can be given hearts that can activate, and that they be filled with love, and that they can forgive themselves, and so that they can rise too, and that they are given a lot of consciousness. You know, these spirits, if they want to live, if they want to exist, then I feel that they have the right to, as long as they are not interfering with other life unnecessarily, and especially not for evil, wicked reason. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. Yeah, please do, Maria. Yeah, I don't fear them, but they were tormenting, and I got to experience that firsthand. So whether, you know, it does make sense that I would be personally tormented by them. So I'm not sure if everybody else was experiencing that as well, but thank you, my friend. Love you, Michelle. Love you all. Love you, Maria. So I don't fear them, but I do want them to be healed if possible, because I do know the day of the Lord is coming, and I know that it's really important that this take place now. So yeah, just I wonder if I should turn commenting on for this one. All right, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. We'll get to the place of more harmony, and yeah, just keep praying. Prayer works. And remember, like, these moments of waking up suddenly can be really intense and really overwhelming, but it always passes. It passes. Just pray, ground, go to a tree. Literally, that's where tree hugging comes in. Nature will heal us. Do some sun gazing. All of those things, and it passes. And you know, also think, what if you didn't have the eyes and ears to see and hear? What would it be like then? So we have to try to stay in that type of gratitude and keep coming together. And yeah, I'll talk to you very soon. All right, peace and love.